back to another episode of the William and Mary Sports Podcast. Today, I'll be talking a little bit about William and Mary's first three basketball games, and then also giving my thoughts on the win over Hampton on Saturday. I am a little bit under the weather, so if I sound a little bit funny, that's why. But without further ado, let's get straight into this episode. So, to start off this episode, I just first want to say I appreciate all the support I've been getting across my platform so far on Instagram and on Twitter. And then, of course, I just started my YouTube channel. I have not posted on there yet for the podcast, but that will be coming soon. I'm hoping to do that today, actually. Uh, but anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit about the Tribe's 31-10 win over Hampton on Saturday on their senior day. We win the game favored by 11 and a half. Obviously, if you watch the game, we ended up covering after a massive fourth quarter. Um, what was interesting actually was the fact that Tyler Hughes was starting for the Tribe today. Um, he had a bit of an up and down game, but had a really strong fourth quarter. Had two passing touchdowns, and then of course a rushing touchdown to cap off the game. Ended at 31-10, uh, and he really turned it on in the second half after really struggling in the first half, just passing. He only threw the ball 14 times, and he only completed five passes, two of which were touchdowns. So obviously, still probably the passing game even becoming more of a problem than it was. But overall, very proud of Tyler Hughes being able to um, bounce back and then end up securing a good margin of victory against Hampton with a good fourth quarter attack. Obviously, if we look at the rushing, obviously Bronson Yoder did not play once again this week. And then something to note is if he doesn't play next week, I and I'm not sure if this is like along the lines of what he wants to do, but if he doesn't play next week, and then we'll just say he doesn't play the rest of the season, there is a potential for a red shirt. I believe that he has not used his red shirt yet in his career. I do know he's a fifth year senior because of his COVID year, but I do think if he does not play another game this season for the Tribe, uh, just a reminder the maximum amount of games that you can play without um, or with maintaining a red shirt is participate in 4 games, and I was right. He has not used his red shirt yet in his career, so he could get an injury red shirt or maybe just a regular red shirt. I think as well, but um, I think if that's in line with what he wants to do, if he is willing to stay in college another year, if um, if he wants to pursue more with his education at William and Mary, I think everyone here would be gladly accepting of that, as he's probably one of our best players on the team. We've been missing his presence a lot, but standing up in his absence, we had. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of this name, but it's. I'll just say his last name because I really don't want to butcher his first name. But Lasor, who I believe is a redshirt sophomore running back, or excuse me, a junior running back for the Tribe, who is actually from Belgium. Interesting enough, um, he got the majority of the carries today. He had six. He had 42 rushing yards, with a long of 29 on one of his carries, and that was good to see. He was on the team last year, but didn't really play much. The only real time we saw him was in the uh, into the game against Gardner Webb in the playoffs. Hollis Mathis, Tyler Hughes, both of the quarterback ish guys. They kept it on the ground a little bit. Nothing major there. Obviously, but we do know that Tyler Hughes had the rushing touchdown with his legs late in the fourth quarter, and then Malachi Emo, 5 carries, 27 yards, no touchdowns. Didn't really do a whole ton there today. Um, and it looks like Martin Lucas didn't play either. I think he got banged up last week and decided not to play this week, just in concern for injury. On the receiving end, obviously we know in the fourth quarter to kind of get the momentum swinging heavily in our favor, it was 10-10, and then um, Tyler Hughes and JT Mayo connected for a 76-yard touchdown pass. That was Mayo's only reception of the day, and that was the biggest one. Malachi Emo did have a 33-yard reception today. Um, Hollis Mathis had 18. Trey McDonald had 10. It was just one of those games where, you know, uh, he threw five completed passes, and they were all to different people. So that was really interesting to see. And then obviously we cannot go without mentioning Kevin Jarrell's pick six, which was truly one of the most crazy plays I've seen in college football ever. Um, if you didn't get a chance to watch a play, I will put it on the screen for when I upload my YouTube video. It won't be on the screen for if you're just trying to listen to my podcast on Spotify, but if you do want to see the play, it will be on YouTube. Um, Basically, the Hampton quarterback, Christopher Zealous, he threw the ball and it hit off of his receiver's foot while he was going out of bounds. It was going to be an incomplete pass, but it hit off his receiver's foot as he was falling out of bounds. The deflection went up, and then Jarrell, which just happened to be in the area, it caught him by surprise, but he still caught it, and then he took it all the way back for a pick six. This once again one of the craziest plays I've ever seen, and that to note was the number the number two play in college football from that day. So pretty crazy there, and that got us off to a good start as well in that fourth quarter. Um, but yeah, just a really good play, and I thought, all things considered, it was a solid performance. It was kind of a cloudy day in Hampton, just one of those games where you feel like it's gonna be a slugfest. But William Mary had a good fourth quarter, able to come out with a 21-point win. Um, but back to the Tyler Hughes stuff. I think he really did play well. Overall, all things considered, but there is some questions about whether Darius Wilson was benched because of performance or if he was injured. Obviously, with William and Mary, you don't really have to say anything. Um, and obviously, since we won today, I don't think the questions were very hard on Coach London about what the decision was there. Um, Obviously, uh, Darius Wilson didn't play at all. He did not rush, and he did not pass a single time. So, uh, questions there whether he was benched because of performance or because of injury, and then also it will be interesting to see who gets to start next week in the big game against Richmond at home. Um, yeah, so very, very interesting to see Tyler Hughes start. That is definitely not what I expected, but it ended up working out well. And then obviously for next week, we need a win to potentially make the playoffs. Right now, we're probably on the less fortunate side of the bubble, even with a win. I do think though if we win and we get some sort of help, the committee might sneak us in there. Obviously, because CAA is probably one of the uh, more tough conferences in the FCS, and a 7-win team out of there, um, especially with one loss going against FCS Virginia or FBS Virginia, who has turned out, while not having an amazing record in the FBS, has played better than their record so far. Um, and I think you got to give William Mary an opportunity if we are to win next week. And that is all I have to say about football. And I will talk about basketball. The three games that we played against Regent at home, which was our opener, which we won. Our second one against American, which was a test game in which we won, and then our third game at George Washington, which we narrowly lost. So getting into it, um, Monday night to open the season, William Mary beat um, the Regent Royals, who are in, I believe, the National Christian Athletic Conference or something. So they're a small, probably D2 or D3 uh like school, who's obviously a Christian based university. Um, and we obviously took it to them like we should have. We won the game 84-29, only allowing 14 points in the first half, and then 15 in the second half, which was good to see for the defense. Obviously, what was expected against a lower level team, just to kind of warm up for the season. Some performances to note for the Tribe was Caleb Dorsey had excuse me. Chase Lowy had 13 points. This is a guy that saw the floor a little bit last year, not so much though. But he had a really good game, especially from the field. Was 5 for 5, did not miss. Uh, Went 3 for 5 from the line. Rebounded really well for us, and then he was just an all around player. Caleb Dorsey struggled. He along with Ty, or excuse me, he along with Trey Moss, Sean Haupt. Trey Moss and Sean Haupt were the transfers this year. He struggled a little bit coming off the bench. Um, Haupt had a good game. I thought he struggled a little bit from three, but 2 for 5, not terrible. Um, shot all right from the field, 3 for 7, but knocked down both of his free throw chances. And then, unlike something we saw last year, we had a 3 point shooter last year who in Miguel Ayesa, um, but you could really see uh, he was more limited in terms of being able to go inside and get buckets other than threes, and then going in and rebounding. Um, Obviously, no shade to Miguel Ayesa at all. He was a really good player for us, and he's a really nice guy too. But Haupt is, I think, just better at all around. Um, and that just obviously that includes just scoring, rebounding, assisting, all of that. So he will probably stay in the starting lineup for a while. Gabe Dorsey had a nice game coming back from injury from last year. He had 18 points, shot 12 threes, 6 of them went in, so that's high percentage, I would say there, and then was 6 for 13 from the field. He played 21 minutes out of the game, and I thought he played really well. Obviously, had those 18 points, rebounded well, and all of that. Trey Moss, transfer from South Florida, I thought played well. Um, Obviously, the coaches in the preseason, I went to kind of a preseason banquet for the basketball team, and they said that Trey Moss was probably the best athlete that they have ever coached, and he showed that. I was at the game, and he was an athlete. I'll say that. But he had 12 points, shot really well from the free throw line, 5 for 6, especially when last year, if you watch William Mary basketball at all, the free throw line was really a struggle for the team and kind of held him back. Was 1 for 4 from three and 3 for 9 from the field, so all right. But he did have 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and I thought ran the point very well. Karazinski played well, I thought too. Karazinski and Williams. Karazinski had 7 and Williams had 4. Um, Both of them did pretty well from the free throw line. Did not do so well from 3 point or the field, but were big rebounders for us, especially with Karazinski. He had 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and then Williams had 2 rebounds and 4 assists. So I thought they played relatively well there as well. And then finally, Mateus Case, I thought had a good game. He had 10 points. Uh, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and it was a nice win to start off the season. I thought, just to get us going, and we got to see what the team can do on full display. And then Thursday, the following Thursday, we took on American University out of DC. Now this was kind of a test game. We were favored by half a point going into the game at home, and this we've had American on the non-conference schedule for, I think, the last couple of years, and we've lost to them, I think, both times. So this was kind of a test to see who we were as a team, and just to say we exceeded expectations, winning that game 75-56. So nowhere near where the spread makers thought it would be. Haupt had a really, really good game for the Tribe. He started once again. He had 17 points. Uh, did not what wasn't so much of a factor in terms of assisting and rebounding, but that's quite all right. He went 5 for 6 from the line, 4 for 6 from three, and 4 from 7 through the field. So he went off. Played 30 minutes of the game. Had 17, obviously. Gabe Dorsey once again. Gabe Dorsey and Trey Moss both had really good games. They both had 14 points, and they both shot well from the field. Gabe Dorsey went 8 for 8 on his free throws, something amazing to see. And Trey Moss went 2 for 2. So once again, those free throws are really important, and being able to knock them down was really crucial and propelled us to the win. Also to mention, Gabe Dorsey had 9 rebounds there, and that was a major factor once again of keeping the game. Um, having a dominant performance against American to start off the season, and then I thought the rest of the team didn't like go crazy in terms of points, but a lot of the bench players had solid games as well as Karasinski there, and very very nice win. I think that game kind of showed where we were as a team. Um, Obviously surpassing expectations by a pretty good margin, and then pretty exciting to see there. And then moving on to the game against George Washington this past Saturday, really was up and down. I thought we came out really really well in the first half, um, going up by I don't know how much we went up by, but we were up by probably 7 to 10 points for a decent chunk of the first half. Obviously, it was one of those games where. We're not favored to win. We're not supposed to win. George Washington, in fact, was favored by 10.5 points, but we went in there. We gave it our all in our first half. Um, ended up going into the locker room down just 1 point, and then really really fought our hardest, um, but ended up losing by 6 points to a very good George Washington team out of the A10, which is a superb conference. And I thought, while we did lose, and that was a little bit disappointing, especially when we didn't play uh, very good defense. We let one of their star players have 32 points, and he had 16 free throw attempts, which was absolutely absurd. 15 of those he knocked down, so that was nearly half of his points there. Um, but still not a great performance defensively, but we did have a good game, I thought there. Um, one of those games where we kind of had the lead the whole time, but we kind of knew we were going to blow it at the same time. Um, but once again, we did not expect to go in there and win the game, but I thought we put up a very, very good performance, and I thought that there was a lot to be encouraged, or a lot to be happy about, coming off of that win. Especially the starting lineup played really well. Haupt had another 17-point game, shot all right from the three. Um, Gabe Dorsey, another good game, he had 15, shot 50% from the three. Trey Moss, 11 points. Uh, played pretty well all around, I thought. Karasinski did not have an amazing game, but he had 5 points and 5 rebounds. And then finally, Charlie Williams had a really good game. He had 12 points. He shot and made 4 of his 7 threes, and had 8 assists there. So that was pretty exciting. And then on the bench, Chase Lowe, once again, maybe a guy that's going to fall into the mix of becoming a starter. He had 16, made all of his free throws, and then shot 6 for 7 from the field. Had 8 rebounds, 2 assists. I think he will really be competing for a starting spot coming up in the next couple of weeks, especially when we go out west, and we play in the Air Force Classic, I believe, and we play 3 teams that are west based in Air Force, Omaha, and then I think Linderwood, if I'm not mistaken. Not completely sure on that, but that will be an interesting test, and maybe we'll see him sneak into the starting lineup. But on the other end, I do have to recognize I just said something uh, about him earlier, but Washington had James Bishop the fourth. He's a senior, senior guard. He had 32 points for them. I would say I wouldn't say carried them, but did a significant portion as the next leading scorer had 15 points. And then a lot of that once again was from the free throw line. I guess he's just a master at drawing fouls as he went 15 for 16 from the line. Very very good percentage there. 1 for 4 from three, and then 8 for 18 from the field. He played all but 2 minutes of the game. Also had 5 rebounds and 5 assists. So, just a really good game from him. We were not able to lock him down, obviously, and he was a major part of them scoring 95 and making the game a lot, or excuse me, helping them win the game. Sorry about that, but last point from here. Tribe did knock down all 9 of their free throw attempts. Once again, something we heavily struggled with last year, and was amazing to see that we did well today. And hopefully, we can continue shooting well from the free throw line, because those points killed us. And if we had missed a decent chunk of those, not only would this game not have been close at all, you know if we had more free throw attempts and we missed them, we could have potentially won this game. But I thought we did all we could there, um, and put up a really really good fight against George Washington. And once again, a lot to be proud of with that performance. And like I said, I believe on Thursday we take on Omaha in part of the Air Force Classic in Colorado. So once again, really interesting. Obviously, we don't see a lot of William Mary teams go out and play in um, in uh, Western tournaments, or play Western teams. Obviously, that costs a lot of money to go out there. So it is pretty exciting that we will get to compete in one of those today, and we do play Omaha on Thursday, Air Force on Friday, and then I believe on Sunday Lindenwood. Um, as our final game in the Air Force Classic. I'm not sure if this is a tournament or not, but if it is, um, we could see us playing additional games. If it is a tournament style, kind of like the Maui Invitational, you play more games if you win. But we'll see there. Hopefully, we'll see what this team's made of, especially on the road, playing teams that we don't usually get to play. But overall, I thought a good weekend for Tribe Sports. I know we did lose one of the 2 games, but once again, very very encouraging results there. Um, so thank you all for tuning into the podcast. I apologize; I was a little bit under weather, so this episode was a little bit choppy. Um, yeah, so thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you hopefully next Sunday on the William Mary Sports Podcast.